Hello and welcome back to my channel, Thrifty Day. On today's episode, I'm going to be doing a journal with me. And it's sort of a nod to my husband's birthday, but really it's just about my favorite thing, which is vintage shops. So here's the ephemera that I used. Not all of it is from the same day, but some of it is. That's the bag from something we bought at a vintage shop we went to on my husband's birthday. And that's the receipt from what I purchased. And there's just some other odds and ends. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is sort of just start laying everything out. I have some scraps, I have some old receipts. I love those scraps. I wish I had bigger ones because that print is so pretty. This is a vintage book page that I love the colors, and I love that it all sort of looked like things you would buy at a vintage shop. So I thought it would be the perfect page to add to my journal. So this is the bag that I bought a vintage coffee can, and this is the bag that it came in, and that's the stamp of the store. I bought it at Magnolia Vintage. And so I just want to use the front part as a sort of a layering page, and I wanted that stamp to be prominent, that Magnolia stamp. So I'm going to use my cutter, although my paper slicer wasn't working well on that brown bag. I don't know why, so I ended up just sort of freehanding it. And then I also use my ruler to just cut the paper down to the right size. But it's okay. You know me. I don't really need lines to be straight or perfect. So I just improvise. So there I just use my ruler and kind of cut the bottom off. It wasn't perfect, but it, I think looks good. So I'm going to use my PVA glue to glue it down. I use PVA glue in this journal a lot because I have a lot of fabric dyed pages, and I just found that the glue stick doesn't quite work as well. It does, but PVA glue or wet glue, even just Elmer's glue, is faster, and you can cover a larger area. So I went ahead and just put that on there, and as you can see, I still have some white sticking out of the side, so now I'm going to try to cover that. But the first thing I'm going to do is use this beautiful vintage book page. I absolutely love it. I couldn't decide which side I wanted to use for journals, so I'd kind of been hoarding this image. But I decided I want to stop doing that. I just want to start using all the things I love in my journal instead of saving everything. So I'm just going to use that PVA glue and stick the whole page on that yellow side. Because now I can enjoy all those beautiful vintage images in my journal forever. So I stuck it on there. I love the way it looks already. This is already bringing me so much joy. I'm going to put some washi tape right down the middle. I'm just going to rip it. It doesn't need to be perfect, just so those pages don't lift over time. My kids love going through my journals, which of course brings me so much joy, but I think over time those might lift. So I always put washi down the middle. That's a great tip, by the way. Always put washi down the middle if you're adding pages on top of pages. So now I'm going to use those scraps that I love so much. I love the print. I swear I would have that wallpaper in my house, like my kitchen or something. It's just so bright and cheery. So I'm just trying to, put the puzzle pieces together here, trying to figure out what's going where. That's the tag from the coffee can I bought. I, of course, want to add the photo we took on my husband's birthday of me and Hannah and Steve. So I'm just going to staple that and sort of extend the page out, that pretty print of those daisies. And since the PVA glue is out, I'm just going to add a little bit right to the side so it doesn't lift. I'm already loving the vibes of this layout. It's so simple, but the colors are so pretty. It's just so me. I think that once you start journaling and you find your personal style, you just can get so much joy out of looking through your journal. So already the colors and the vintage elements and the daisies are making me so happy. So I'm just trimming down this photo to fit inside that vintage card. That vintage card came from a dear friend of mine, Diane, and so I wanted to put it in my journal because that will also make me think of her. So I just use double stick tape. I just use Scotch double stick tape. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you should use acid free and make sure you really preserve your photos and cards, and I just really don't mind. I don't mind the way things age and brown and kind of naturally deteriorate for lack of a better word. I like the way that looks. When I buy old photo albums, I like the browning around the photos and the tape. It doesn't bother me at all. So in 50 years, if that tape browns, I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me. And so I cut down that photo to fit inside the card. And now this is a receipt. I don't know if you all remember that TikTok I posted, and I think I put it on my stories. I went to that fabric store in Orange or Buena Park. And so that's my receipt from all the fabric that I bought. It's like old new stock, and it's really neat. It's called M&L fabric. So that's my receipt from the fabric that I bought. I just like that it looked kind of vintage, even though it's not. And so I glued it down with glue stick because it's a very thin receipt. And then I added washi tape to the top and the bottom. I added floral to the top because I thought it kind of brought the colors from the other page onto the receipt. So now I'm just going to do my journaling right there inside the card. I just talk about what we did for Steve's birthday, where we ate, the vintage shop, how much fun we had, and what a lovely day it was celebrating his special day. So I'm just going to give that ink a second to dry so I don't smear it because the card was a little bit glossy. And then once it's dry, I'll staple it right onto the page. But I know I wanted to add these little baby's breath, the dried baby's breath that I had. Lizzie picked that up and gave it to me, oh my gosh, months ago. And it's literally just been sitting on a bookcase in her living room. So I picked it up and I thought, oh, you know what? I will add it to this layout because now that baby's breath will make me think of her. So I added washi tape and a staple, and it should be on there good enough. And now that my journaling is dry, I'm just going to staple that card and that photo right into the layout as well. Stapling is a really great medium to use in creative journaling or junk journaling. I think it adds a really neat tactile look and feel to your journal, and you know that whatever you use those staples on is not going anywhere. So now I'm just going to use some washi tape to add the tag from the item that we purchased from our little vintage trip there right onto the page. And I also want to add a tab. I haven't added any tabs to this journal, and I've been journaling in it a lot. So I had all those fabric scraps, so I thought it would be really fun to just pick a bright one. That green one kind of matched the tag and some of the colors on the page. And I just cut a piece that would be a nice little addition as a tab, and I'm going to use my stapler and staple it right to the end. So now when I close my journal and I see that bright green daisy tab, I will know that it will lead me to Steve's birthday layout. So I have found that what I do at the end of every layout is add a few little stickers. So I'm going to add some of these little word stickers by Tim Holtz all over the pages that say some sweet things about memories and old made new and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm also going to add some of my favorite stickers that I purchased from Eliza Ryan Design. You can find Eliza Ryan Design stickers and bags over on Etsy. I'll link her shop below. But this particular sticker sheet, which is in her Etsy shop, was perfect for this layout. The colors were perfect. The vibe was perfect. It's very sort of 70s vintage flowers and daisies, and I loved it. So I stuck bumblebees and daisies pretty much all over the pages. A little mushroom to the back of that tag, and I just think it added so much, this cute little layer of colors with these beautiful little stickers. So you can find her shop below, Eliza Ryan Design. And this is the finished layout. It's very simple, but it brings me a lot of joy because it's really just all of my favorite things. Going vintage shopping with Steve and Hannah, the colors are bright. There's a sweet little photo. That's a teacup, actually, that Hannah purchased. She loves buying teacups whenever we go to vintage shops, and I think it's really sweet. She has 3 or 4 now. So I hope you were inspired. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I just want to say thank you so much for following along. Please hit the like and subscribe button. That means a lot to me. Your support of my channel is very important, and I am so grateful for it. So have a great week, everyone. Bye.